Durban's rail infrastructure is slowly deteriorating. There are calls for government to fix the railway system, while the damaged infrastructure has forced some businesses to use road transport to move their goods. eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli is following through with that story for us, and she joins us live now. Lethiwe, pleasure having you back. And I mean, early on we saw even the Transport Department conceding that a conversation needs to be had, but also a way forward needs to be paved by all key role players to ensure that KwaZulu-Natal's logistics economy impacted by this railway infrastructure dilapidation is fixed up quickly.
Of course, Tumelo, and we will be touching on how the economy has been impacted by the fact that a lot of railway lines and corridors as well were impacted during the floods. As a result, goods were not being moved around as they were supposed to. But right now I'm actually at Prasa, and I'm going to be joined by their spokesperson here in the KwaZulu-Natal region, where he'll be giving me an update on what is currently happening. But earlier on, when I spoke to the Transport Department, they did say that they're trying to move away from using trucks on the road and then moving to using trains instead, because that is the faster and more effective way to transport goods across the country. But right now I'm joined by Zamano Mganga. I want to bring him in and get an update on where they are when it comes to fixing that damaged infrastructure. You saw last year the floods damaged everything. Mr. Mganga, thank you so much for joining us at eNCA. Firstly, give us an update. Corridors that are now working that weren't working last year, that were affected by the floods. I know that Umlazi was affected, Kwamash was also affected. There's been a lot of vandalism. Where are you?
Greetings, Mdluli. Greetings to the viewers of eNCA. I can say I'm grateful for what Prasa has done for our community, because we've managed to open Umlazi line, that is Corridor A. Between Durban and Umlazi, trains are moving now. Also, the new line is where we also share the line with TFR, that is goods train. We've introduced our EMU, the new trains, the full swing we carry our commuters in the morning and then in the afternoon. Also, now we just finished now Umashu. We are rendering services there. We are intending to also introduce our new sets at South Coast. Remember that we were affected by floods and also theft and vandalism, especially the west and the Pinetown line has been harvested. But now Prasa, we've got plans of making sure that we recover those lines. We've started with construction, also to rebuild our stations, because they were also vandalized. But the main focus now is to open the lines, just to have our commuters moving safe. Also, we are fixing the infrastructure so that we've got effective and reliable service.
Mr. Nomganga, I want to touch on the main line in Cato Ridge. I mean, that section of the corridor was badly affected by the floods, which meant that the economy of this province was affected because goods were not moving. We have Transnet here, so that means that a lot of goods that are coming into the country and also going out of the country are coming through Durban. So it was very, very bad to see that our economy was not growing at that time. Where are we with fixing the main line? Are goods being transported through that line?
I can say yes, we've done well. Remember that the main line is owned by TFR, our sister company. They speed up the construction. They were there, and now they are finished. That is why now we are able to move the cargo. Also, our commuters are benefiting from that, because now we ferry our commuters using our new EMU trains, but also TFR, they are able to move their goods in the mornings, in the evenings. There's some quite a drastic change in terms of the infrastructure rehabilitation.
In terms of how many commuters were affected by this, because I know that you're not 100% back, how many commuters were affected by this?
Partially, I can say just Umlazi only. I ferry about 350,000, just Umlazi only. Imagine now, because now we are busy opening the Umashu line, also thousands that were affected and then the south coast up to Umbongitwini. Also, that's our line where we ferry our commuters. But thousands of commuters were affected, but now we are coming slowly but surely, because people, they do have trust, and then they do, some of them, they rely on the railway services. But as Prasa, we committed ourselves to make sure that we carry our mandate to serve the community. Also, we are busy. If you can go now at Umashu, we are finalizing, our contractors are finalizing the snacks. By next week, we'll be on game.
Why is it taking so long for any of the rebuilding to happen? I mean, the floods took place over a year ago, and only now we are seeing movement. Why are you taking so long in fixing this infrastructure?
Mdluli, as I say, remember that we are a government entity. There are procedures that need to be followed. There are committees that need to sit so that we do everything by the book. It's not like in my house. I can go and decide where to choose to buy bread. But as the government entity, we are guided. We need to make sure that we abide by the PFMA. Their progress, as you said, now there is some improvement. You can see Prasa is busy. I'm also busy engaging stakeholders, introducing contractors. It's quite an exciting era, so that we can say that by next year, because our deadline is November. By November, we need to make sure that everything's running. I can say I was part, and proudly so, of the corridor recovery program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it, Dumelo, from Prasa in KwaZulu-Natal, basically saying that they will be finished by November. They're giving us a deadline. They're also saying that by next week, commuters will be able to move around from the northern parts of Durban. That place was also affected by the floods last year. But I'm now going to be focusing on the economic side. I want to speak to investors and trade here in KwaZulu-Natal and find out from them how they've been affected by this, because, I mean, if the railway lines are not working, it means that the good trains are stuck. Luckily, Mr. Nomganga did share that that main line, that main corridor that connects Johannesburg and Durban has been open, which means that they are now operating. It did take them quite some time to recover the corridor, but unfortunately enough, it is now working. We are going to be now focusing on the economic side and see how this province has been affected and see how businesses are doing moving forward.
Very important to have that economic focus as well, Lethiwe Mdluli, just to see, of course, what's happening with businesses. They've been shutting down. We know previously it's been alluded to COVID-19, but to what extent is the logistics economy also impacted due to these railway networks? We'll leave it to you, colleague, and come back to you as soon as those conversations are ongoing. That's eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli for us out in KwaZulu-Natal.